Review. This is The Father. It was released last year, and of course, it was very popular in the awards seasons, and more of that in a moment. It's directed by Florian Zeller. The screenplay was written by Christopher Hampton. Take note of the cinematographer, Ben Swithard. Excellent job, I felt. Ludovico Enad is responsible for the music and the cast. In the lead role is Anthony Hopkins, who plays Anthony. His daughter, Anne, is played by Olivia Colman. Paul is Rufus Sewell. Olivia Williams plays Catherine. Imogen Poots plays Laura. Aisha Darker is Dr. Sareh. Mark Gatiss plays the man. And finally, Eve Ray plays Lucy. Anthony Hopkins gives an outstanding emotional performance and an Oscar winner for Best Actor. It's certainly his best film in years. He's an 80-year-old father suffering from dementia, and the film enables the viewer to experience the confusion in Anthony's mind at the same time as if it is being played out here and now. You really feel frequently uncertain as to what is real and what's happening in a brain dysfunctional through dementia. French playwright Florian Zeller amazingly adapts his own 2014 play to the screen. He co-writes it with Christopher Hampton, and this is his feature film directional debut. So Anne, played by Coleman, stays over at her 80-year-old retired engineer's widowed father frequently in his London flat. He's a sophisticated man, but he has now developed difficulty recognising simple things and has dismissed his latest caretaker after going on a rant. Anne plans to go to Paris and needs someone to look after her father. He confuses the nurse, Catherine, played by Williams, for his daughter, Anne, repeatedly. It's the beginning stages of dementia, and after shouting out to the help, "I don't need her, I don't need anyone," he gets a fright when his memory continues deteriorating, and so he agrees to the new caretaker, Laura, played by Imogen Poots. I'm now going to refer to some of my notes on this movie. It has to be said it was fairly difficult to assimilate, and become clear as to why as I go through them. The setting, a smallish, well-furnished flat in London. We've quickly become embroiled in a issue regarding Anthony's claim that his watch has been stolen by the carer, and he views her as a thief. Of course, this isn't the case. He's just forgotten where he placed it. Then there's the Paris plan that the daughter refers to. And the longer the film goes on, we start to wonder if this is a figment of his and perhaps our imagination. The focus on the isolation and the loneliness is apparent, and as a viewer, possibly dreading this scenario arriving in your world or coming to you personally. The questions, is the man just in Anthony's mind, or is it mistaken identity, or is it a chameleon-like change to someone he knows? These are the sort of issues that confront the viewer as we watch. The challenges for the viewer, for Anthony, is to decide a fact from fantasy, and Hopkins delivers in spades with an amalgam of emotions: frustration, anger, relief, and comic moments, such as when he's talking to the new carer in interview. It's all very, very ha-ha, but most importantly, of course, is the sadness and fear as the ceilings and corridors in the mind close in on Anthony. Denial is a crucial phase, which is illustrated well by the director. Anthony trying to convince others of his wellness and being viper-like in his negativity to daughter Anne on more than one occasion, and others. The director deliberately deploys two characters looking remarkably similar to emphasise the muddled thinking in Anthony. And I thought this was a very ingenious part introduced. And you, yourself as a viewer, you can work it out as well. And perhaps you're suffering. The depth of the condition is explored in one scene when Anthony starts to doubt that his flat is his own. Clever direction again, hoping to plunge the viewer into a state of confusion and self-doubt as to what really is happening. Then there's a scene with the new caregiver, extraordinary acting by Hopkins, as he appears to be a jocular, friendly old man who's not far away from cracking jokes with the young pretty girl. And he then moves on to agree to the caregiver, and he tries to win her friendship through jocular banter and flattery. It then touches on how loving carers may feel like ending the pain for them and the sufferer by getting them into a living scenario away from them. Illustrated here in a dream, we see the obsessional behaviour and we observe it with regard to the watch problem. The target this time is Anne's husband. The primary carer, perceived to always be strong emotionally, is rather challenged here. The director wants us to understand that it's a myth and that Anne is particularly vulnerable as she sees her father descend into this madness almost. The tender notes are occasionally evident, which spurs her to continue, but eventually she gives in, and the idea of him being placed in a facility is an option that has to be taken. She relieves Anthony of his agitation quickly enough. She's well versed of it, particularly when he's having a problem putting on a pullover. The inevitable talk of the institution, when arisen, draws pain and guilt for Anne, and also Anthony witnessed it by overhearing the discussion with Anne's husband. The final moments are quite stark. Anthony looking out from his window in his room at normality, and you sense he's feeling imprisoned briefly. And Anthony gets a degree of joy as the child playing with a paper bag in the street perhaps reflects his own regression to child experiences that he's revisiting. Moments of deep despair as Anthony cries incessantly to his caregiver in the home, and he also rekindles an image of Lucy, a daughter that has apparently been lost earlier in life, and this is tragically restored to his memory. So what do we, the viewer, make of this in the battle between fact versus fiction? Well, the confusion magnifies with the carer, that's to be sure. And the direction is brilliant in doing close-ups of Anthony's wandering concentration through eye movements, and for the record shows the latter stages of the disease when memory recall has all but disappeared. These last memories of his mother then later are rekindled, but he's unable to remember much, and it leads to a typical toddler-like reaction, having lost his parents. The life cycle has returned full circle to those early years of dependency. This is a tragic piece of work, an essential piece of work, and it's been delivered by two actors at the top of their game. Do get to watch it, but it is a painful watch. The Father, released in 2020.